nervous just listening to it.
It was a tough.
Look, no, I got no shoes on
You
today.
think it was an easy job? It wasn't an easy job.
I didn't say it was an easy job. I don't know how you got hired to counsel the mentally ill.
Because
You're a great
back into
I'm
society.
a good interview.
Oh, yeah.
bringing
Counsel
them
them so they can leave and be productive members of society like you.
Wasn't-
But meanwhile, you're a quote-unquote productive member of society, and you work there with them.
That's
Right.
exactly. And
So
live
what-
there with
what
them.
kind
Coming
of
off
fucking
of
snake
construction
eating
And
and
live
food
there
stints.
with them.
snake eating its tail? You live in a mental hospital, and you're completely with it.
It wasn't a mental hospital. It was a psychiatric halfway house. Come on now. It's a
pointing at
step
me.
up. It's a step up. You know.
When you're in a mental hospital, do you go, one day, hopefully, like when you're in rehab, you want to get to that sober house, right? And when you're at the sober house, you want to get to your own place. Is it like that with mental hospitals? Do they have a day? I'm being serious, actually.
I don't think they have any clue.
No.
I think they just pack them up one day and bring them to the Milford house. And they say, here you
Pack
are.
them up.
Yeah, come on.
Everybody get in the van.
You're going to the Milford house.
Go to the Milford.
Straighten out.
God damn
Or
it.
you'll be back here in 2
I'll
weeks.
tell you what, before we leave, run under those deer, get some red snowballs. We're going to bring them in and freak out Mr. Zeff.
Oh, man. Reinhardt. He was a cool
Hey,
guy.
Reinhardt, we got you some red snowballs.
Oh,
Dick was
pressure.
cool.
Now it says here Norman.
Norman Fitchner was this guy's name. Norman was just this little old guy, and he would, in those days you could only have like $400 in your bank account because, if you had too much, you'd have too much money in SSI and all this other stuff. So
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The thing is, in order to
back in the
collect,
day, don't have a lot of money.
to collect your SSI, your Social Security,
Which we're never gonna
Social
get.
Security, which you're never going to get unless you go crazy. You couldn't have too much money in your bank account. So I'm in Norman's room one day, and straightening his drawers out or doing something, and I pick a pair of pants up, and it's like $5,000, just all in dollar bills.
That's more than there was on the Mass Turnpike.
No kidding. Anyway,
Fuck yeah, you find
Norman
money.
had just been packing his money away, so we had to find out ways to spend his money because he couldn't put it in the bank or they'd cut off his SSI.
So what was the answer?
Oh, we bought him about 10 good, expensive suits, beautiful alligator shoes.
To wear in the Milford house during
He looked
checkers.
great, but you'd give him a beautiful suit like that and shoes, and they'd wear it for like 3 months in a row. It didn't look too good after that. But what are you going to do?
And did these people did you have to get them into the showers? Did they have their own showers in their rooms?
No. It was a big old New England house, a triple decker, as they call it, and there were like 5 or 6 or 7 bathrooms, and they'd take their turns and do all this other stuff. The counselors lived up. I lived up on the 3rd floor.
Naturally.
And the woman
Luca
that
lived
that
on
was
the
on the
second
same
floor.
floor as me, Roxanne.
Thank you.
Roxanne was like this real big girl, and she was very artistic. But
Yeah, big girl that's autistic.
about 3 years after,
Roxanne, I'm going to be your man.
well, almost 3 years after, I get a call from Roxanne, and she says, "Hey Dan, want to come down and meet me for lunch in Boston someplace?" I said, "Sure, Roxanne, I'll come down there." And she sounded a little different, but anyway, I get down there and I go in and meet Roxanne, and she's got like this scrofty-looking little beard and everything, and like a crummy little mustache. And I said,
Crummy.
"Roxanne, what's going on?" She says, "Don't call me Roxanne. Call me Isaac."
Oh,
She had a
shit.
sex change operation, but in those days, you didn't really get the whole, they didn't really put a penis on or something. She just had some little metal thing, or I didn't look at it or anything. But that's what she
metal
told me.
thing.
I don't know how it happened, but anyway, she was
How
going
it
through.
happened.
She's going through a sex change thing. Roxanne was.
And what did she want from you?
Just to say hi because she hadn't seen me in a long time.
That
Maybe
sounds
that-
like a successful transition back into society. Like, you know what? Fuck this female shit. I'm
She
gonna be a
probably
guy
wanted
now.
to see
I'm
what a
out.
real man thought of, what she was doing and everything.
Maybe that's how Norman spent all his money. Roxanne's
Who knows?
operation.
Maybe he paid for Roxanne's operation.
It says that Norman showered with his socks on.
Oh, he took maybe it says shower, but Norman wouldn't shower. He took baths, and we didn't know this, but he was
An
taking
aristocrat.
baths with his socks on for like 3 months. And he came up to me one day and said, "Dan, my feet hurt." And I looked down at his feet, and they didn't even look like feet. It looked like I didn't even know what the hell they were. I said, "Norman, what the hell have you been doing?" He said, and he said something about his socks. He had been showering with his, or taking baths with his socks on, and then he would just put another pair on, and he had like 5 layers of socks molded to his feet. I
He
tried
would
to
just
pull
put him over top of that.
Oh,
pair?
kept putting on. He never took his socks off. He'd just take.
He must have been like 6'2" by the time he talked to you.
He was a little guy. Anyway, we had to
He
bring
was
him.
5'11",
Had to bring
but
him to the doctors, and they kind of looked at us like, we were the bad guys. Like, why didn't you notice? I said, well, I don't go in there and look at him when he's taking a bath.
Like,
for
look,
crying
I
out
didn't hire me.
Yeah. I'm
Crying out
overqualified
loud.
for
What's
this.
the
That's
interview-
why I didn't fucking notice, because I'm overqualified.
What's the interview for
shit
the
like-
Milford halfway mental house?
Oh man, it was
Like, what kind of questions do they ask you?
just you know what? I don't even remember the interview because the staff there was as crazy as I was. They were all wacky people. I mean,
But you're not crazy. You're completely not crazy.
No.
Have you ever worked with
enough
crazy
those days.
people? No. Ice cream? Yeah, you're hired.
Were you
That
ever-
was the interview.
Were you ever an ice cream man? Sure. Okay, you're hired.
You're hired.
Let me ask you a question. If I have 15 cents and I ask you for a bomb pop, what are you going to tell me?
Go get a nickel from your mother.
Third floor for Mr.
Did you
Hoyt.
ever do
Third
it?
floor for Mr. Hoyt.
Yeah,
Well,
take
we
off-
started having.
Put him on the third floor,
We
Norton.
started having. Well, you can owe us, and then all of a sudden they'd
Owe
come back.
us.
They'd owe us like 25 cents. 5 days in a row they'd be owing us. So then you'd
Put
say
that
one day.
paper on the other hand.
They'd say one day.
Stop hitting it.
Yeah. One day you'd say, sorry, you tapped out. You owe us too much money. And then they'd come back with their mother and you'd get yelled at. And they were all
This is
problems.
when you were an ice cream man,
Ice
not a
cream man,
mental
circus man,
facilitator.
Did you
No.
feel boss when you had that little change belt?
Oh, yeah.
You
I
feel
love
important
that.
like that?
Could you do it without looking? Could you get the correct change without looking at it?
No, because I used to put it on, No, I could never really do that. In fact, we never really even had one of those. I had one when I was a kid, but I'm just playing along.
I want to go back to. Thanks for playing along. I want to go back to the mental hospital because I do have a question.
Sure.
What was the percentage that actually did make it out?
0.
None.
Really? No.
Not one. Well,
They
Roxanne
never-
/ Isaac made it out.
Isaac
They-
made it.
Isaac made it out.
Isaac Gray. She made it out. Or he made it out.
Isaac Gray.
Yeah, that was the.
She
no,
made it out.
She changed her last name too.
No, that was her middle name. Isaac Gray something or other.
So her real name was. We won't say her last name, but it was Roxanne Gray.
I don't even
something.
remember her last name. Yeah.
Right. So Isaac, out of all the names to pick,
I know.
she chose. I
I
want
thought-
a manly man name.
So
I
the
remember
person
she
that
told
made
me-
it out was never even in the fucking hospital.
yeah,
No.
that's the one success story. Was a counselor that a sex change
She
operation.
had to put a little stick in her penis too to make it. I remember I kept saying, well, how did they? I asked her a lot of questions about what
I
they
would,
did.
too.
And everything. Yeah, but in those days they didn't. It wasn't like sophisticated now.
I think now they
Nowadays-
take the labia, or the. I don't know how it works. Do you know how it works?
I don't even know what
women?
the labia is, but what? What the hell's that?
It's part of the cow. It's connected to
Is
the
that
hip.
is
when
that
they-
the part? If you slit his throat and take his labia out?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they extend it out somehow. I don't know. That's the tweets I don't
Man.
want. They take skin from somewhere else and they build
And they
a
build
penis.
the clitoris.
Man.
They build, yeah,
To
they
a
build the
larger
clitoris
penis.
out.
That's my guess.
That would be my guess too.
Jeez.
That's all.
And then if you have if you're a man becoming a woman, I think they slice your penis and they fold
why
it
don't they just
inside.
save 'em?
Oh, and they go in on it?
What did he say?
Why don't they just save them? So they don't have to do that all that
So what, you
labia
can mail
stuff.
people a bag of cocks
That's
when they
right.
bother
Freeze
you?
them.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to mail them a bag of cock.
For every dude that wants to be a chick, you donate your dick to a chick that wants to be a dude.
That's
it should
right.
be like a give a dick
Hey,
program.
wait a minute.
Donate a dick.
That's an idea worth.
I think someone just
Worth
left the home
pursuing.
appraisal
Who
business.
can we get
That's
to run the
right.
Donate the Dick Foundation?
Dan's dick labia.
You know
business.
What?
Dan's dick and labia.
Uncle Dan's
Incorporated.
Dick Donations.
Circus Man Dick and Labia.
Circus Man Dick and Labia Corporation.
Circus Man Dick and Labia abrasions.
Abrasives.
Abrasives.
You did a lot of security. Let me ask you
yeah.
this on a personal note.
Don't get personal.
Your Aunt June was special, right?
Yes.
And then Aunt Junie, you called her,
June, yeah. June or Junie.
and she was very high
She
functioning.
answered the both. Both, yeah.
She answered to both.
Yeah.
And she was very high functioning, right?
Yeah. Yeah. She
Now,
was.
Christy was high functioning, and it slides down.
It's
The
kind
older,
of slid a bit. Yeah. She's
the older she gets, it slides away.
It happens
right?
to all of us, I think.
Right. Is it odd? Do you find it odd? Do you lay in bed at night going, wow, I had this job at this place, and now here I am, my Aunt June, and now here you are caring for a fully grown 50-year-old woman that's special. Like, that's a weird confluence of events to land where you are now, no?
When I stop crying, then I think that. Yeah.
What's the hardest part of Chris?
What the fuck? What did I do?
I'm overqualified for this.
Oh, because I don't know. Chris just knows exactly which buttons to push to get you pissed off. I mean, she can get you riled up in 2 seconds. She's smart about that.
I like at the baby's baptism, she was screaming, "Get away from me! Get away from me! Get away from me!" And I leaned over to Dan. I go, I'm a little fascinated to who she's talking to. Like, if there's some archangel of death hovering above my son at the water lectern.
No kidding.
Get away from me! Satan's just hovering around.
He's like,
We're all saying to Father Tim, like, when he, can you maybe lay some hands on her?
Maybe she sees things that we don't see. You never know.
What's the hardest part about? I mean, you really what time did you get up today?
Oh, I've been up early. I got up about 4:30, 5 o'clock today.
Because Chris got up.
No, because I had to do some appraisal. But my real job as an appraiser, I had to do some work on an appraisal.
And where'd you go? He does a lot of appraisers like in Englewood and Compton. They love him.
Not anymore. I don't go down there too much anymore, but I used to do a lot of work down there.
Yeah.
Call me the White Knight down there.
Oh, there he is. What's up, White Knight?
Here he comes again.
Here he comes.
Here's his measuring tape.
Oh, here comes the White Knight.
What's my house worth?
That's a great nickname right there.
With the hookers or without them? I don't know.
The White Knight.
Yeah, here comes the White Knight. I thought it was George Mikan when he pulled up. But it ain't George Mikan. It's the White Knight, Dan Hoyt, the circus man. He's going to do a home appraisal, give us ice cream, and get Aunt Junie outside.
Well, the good thing is they treat you nice because when you get down there, because they know they got to get something from you. You got to give them a higher value. So if they ask you what it's worth, you say, $500,000. Then you get the hell out of there, and they get the appraisal back, and it's like $150 or something. You're long gone by then.
Fuck
just don't want to do another appraisal on that street for a while, though. That's for sure.
You ever find really weird stuff when you're appraising a house where you don't even want to talk to the person where you got I gotta go.
Oh yeah, well you used to more, but I did look under a house the other day. You have for certain appraisals you got to look under the foundation. Just shine a light in there.
Where? What town was this?
Now, let me see. Where was this one? It was in L.A. someplace.
All right, close enough.
And I looked under it. It was a fourplex. It was a quadruplex, as we call it in the business. And there was you could see about 10 feet away, there was a skeleton of something. Not a human skeleton. Not a human skeleton.
That's awesome.
Go on.
It was like a cat or something that had crawled under there before and, just croaked or something. So every once in a while you see stuff like that. But used to be when all this bad market just first started crashing, you'd go into houses and it looked like people just left all this stuff and left. I mean, there'd be everything, their clothes, everything.
Really?
Yeah. But that was a day.
State Trooper rain parkas.
Yeah, State Trooper raincoats, State Police.
Got three of them in here.
People loved me in those days because I'd tell them I'd get them a State Police jacket. But
I tell you what, I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna scribble "fuck you" off the wall
with shit.
Yeah,
with a toilet brush.
With a toilet. I'm gonna get you a State Police parka. If the Puerto Rican girls are nice, let me tell you something. You get these Puerto Rican girls to talk to me, I'll bring you back a State Police rain
I want
poncho.
3 of those Puerto Rican girls back in my house tonight.
Yeah.
What else you got? How many construction jobs? You did a lot of construction.
Well, we used to work for this company, Franchi Brothers Construction.
Franchi
Brothers.
Not Frenchy.
Franchi Brothers Construction. And we were doing this job, and it was in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts.
I think Ryan's in love with you.
Yeah. It was in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. There's me and my buddy Ron, and then this other guy whose name was Ron, and he was like the and his son's name was Ron Jr.
So
anyway,
Dan and the 3 Ron. Ron.
Everybody, they said to me, "What's your name?" And I said, "Dan." They said, "Good. We already got 3 Rons." So they hired me. I didn't even, Anyway, we were digging this a big deep trench, and they were going to lay the pipe down there and go into a catch basin. Me and one of the Rons. The other Ron was up digging the backhoe.
Well, then where was Ron?
Ron was down in the catch basin, sticking the pipes to, stick these big concrete pipes together.
And then Ron's in the catch basin.
Yeah.
And then where's Ron?
Everywhere.
One Ron is digging with the backhoe.
Right.
And one Ron is down in the trench with me.
And then the third Ron's in the catch basin.
No, we had to work our way down to the catch basin.
Where are the other Ron?
But the stupid Ron running the backhoe, he's fooling around thinking he's cool. And he just bought a new Thunderbird, like a week or 2 ago. And he didn't want to park it out on the street, so he had it parked up in the construction site. And he's backing this thing back up and forth and back and forth. And he picked the back claw up and he put it right through the door in his new Thunderbird. We laughed so goddamn. He was, and he pulled it out and almost tipped the car over. But anyway, we go all the way.
How do you explain that to your insurance adjuster?
I
don't know what.
I was drunk or something. So we worked our way all the way down and tied the pipe into the catch basin. And I'm in there. You know what a catch basin is.
I don't know anything you're talking about.
A pipe goes in.
I'm an entertainer, man.
All right. Anyway, I'm in.
That's what it says when you're on a talk show, and it says comedian/actor/author. From now on, when I go on talk shows, it just says Jay Mohr, entertainer.
That's what you should.
Or it'll say Cedric.
That's right.
Cedric the.
I want to be billed as one of the Rons.
Ron number 4. Anyway, I'm in the catch basin, and they're supposed to tie in this pipe in, and you got to put all these stupid, these things. And there's another pipe coming in from this apartment complex across the street, and someone must have flushed the toilet with it because shit started coming into this catch. I'm backed up against the wall, and it's shooting over my head into the other side. That was the worst thing that happened to me on a construction job. Well, yeah, that was bad.
And you did a lot of see, Ryan, he did security for the Academy Awards.
Oh, yeah.
You've had to look. Here's what's fascinating about you to me. You've had every